The Nephilim were a race of giants which once encompassed the entire earth. Today we know quite a bit about them. Archaeology has revealed the artifacts they have left behind. Their history is corroborated by the legends of virtually every culture of the world, including ancient literature, such as the Epic of Gilgamesh, the Book of Enoch, and the Bible. The Inuit Eskimo tribe knew them as the Tuniat. That very same tribe of giants was known to the Norse as the Skraeling. Many people of Western Asia and throughout Europe knew them as the Scythians, who had at one point bested Rome in battle and were said to have been so tall that their feet came close to the ground when sitting on a horse. The ancient Hebrews knew them as Amorites and Canaanites. Sumer is the oldest culture of the world, and the Sumerians give us a tremendous insight into the origin of the giants. The Sumerians recorded that the Anunnaki, a race of celestial beings, the children of Anak and Anu, came to the earth and fathered a race of men, who then became the kings of mortal man. But the Book of Enoch gives us even greater insight to the origin of these giants. Enoch recorded that during the life of Jared, sometime between 3550 and 2550 BC, the sons of God came to the earth from heaven. Since we know Satan is the father of all lies, it is likely that Satan himself influenced them to do the deeds they did. He had puffed them up and built their pride, and for this crime of pride against the Lord, they were cast out of the heavenly realm. Angered for being cast out of their heavenly home, and jealous of the beautiful new creation of God, they consorted to do ungodly things, and swore an oath to each other that each would be equally culpable for the sinful things they were about to do. Their point of entry into the world was Mount Hermon, Israel, upon which they landed. Just as humans have special gifts and abilities and each is unique, so too the angels were unique, and each used their own special gifts for defiling mankind. So each taught mankind the arts which they themselves loved most. They took wives of human women whom they called beautiful, and fathered the race of giants we know as the Nephilim. Azazel was a lover of metals, and taught men to make swords and knives and shields and breastplates, and made them known to the metals of the earth, and the art of working them, and bracelets and ornaments, and the use of antimony, and the beautying of the eyelids, and all manner of costly stones, and the coloring of tinctures. Samyaza taught the art of enchantments and root cuttings, and all manner of sexual seduction. Amoros taught the art of sexual lust. Barakijal taught astrology. Kokabel taught the constellations. Ezekiel taught the knowledge of the clouds. Arachiel taught the signs of the earth. Shamsiel taught the signs of the sun. And Sariel taught the course of the moon. Not only did the angels sin against man, but they sinned against animals as well. It is believed this means that they genetically engineered new kinds of creatures by mixing the genes of different kinds to create the mythological creatures of old. The corruption the angels had wrought upon the earth was so great that God decided to destroy both man and beast. So God commanded Noah, a man who was righteous and whose genes had not been affected by the work of the angels, to build an ark with which he would save the animals and mankind. But this was only half the story. The angels came and did their dirty deeds again, and created a second race of giants that filled the earth. This image depicts a Babylonian king, so large that he holds a lion in his arms like a man might hold a house cat. He also has 6 fingers and toes, which was common to some of the tribes of giants born after the flood, and is the result of a duplicate gene, an error, if you will, in the genetic tinkering of the Nephilim. There are a great many artifacts left behind by the Nephilim, including footprints, which have been found in several places around the world. Skeletons of humans exceeding 16 feet in height have been found in Native American burial mounds and other places around the world. King Og of the Bible had a bed which was iron and 16 feet in length. This is a bed for a man that is 12 to 14 feet tall. The Nephilim vary greatly in size. Many Native American legends tell of men which were 25 to 35 feet tall, and capable of throwing a bison over their shoulder and walking off with it. Most of these artifacts have been swept up by the National Geographic Society, and most notably by the Smithsonian Institute, in an effort to hide the legitimacy of the Bible from the world. The angels cast out of heaven brought a technological explosion to the world. And likewise, their children, the Nephilim, also brought a technological explosion around the world after the Noachian flood. All within a couple of 100 years, great civilizations arose everywhere around the world. The Egyptians, the Chinese, the Sumerians, the Babylonians, the Mesopotamians, the Native American cultures all arose approximately the same time. This explosion of knowledge was due to the Nephilim, who acquired this great knowledge from their forefathers, the angels cast from heaven. And at that time, the Nephilim created monumental statues and buildings all around the world as well, carving stones weighing up to 3,000 tons with mathematical precision. Stones so heavy and large we are incapable of moving them with modern equipment to this very day. Many like to believe that the giant statuary all around the world and all of the cultures of the world is merely an exaggeration of the kingship. This is false, however. They are actual depictions of the true sizes of men. Native American statues, for example, often depict the angels which were cast from heaven. The same is true in Babylonia, Sumeria, Egypt, and other cultures. This modern example of a Native American totem pole depicts an angel cast from heaven, fathering a Nephilim child. This chart shows us the great size of ancient giants. At the far left we see a normal man of 6 feet height, and at the far right a man of 36 feet in height. It also shows us how common the various giants were in their height. For example, it was most common for a giant to be approximately 15 to 16 feet tall. The next most common was approximately 8.5 feet, and so on to 36 feet. There is becoming a general consensus amongst historians that the most common tribe of giants in the world were the Kurgan. This statue in Russia depicts a Kurgan warrior, approximately 25 feet tall. The Kurgan were the largest tribe of giants in the world. They originated in southern Russia and encompassed the entire world. The Kurgan had been genetically traced around the world with haplogroup X1 and haplogroup X2 genes. During World War II, the Nazis attempted to recreate the Kurgan by genetic engineering. There were giants in the earth in those days and after that, as these Danish axe heads clearly demonstrate, for it would take a man at least 15 to 20 feet tall to swing an axe with a head that weighs between 150 and 200 pounds.
Hi, this is Lisa Haven, and I've got a really interesting topic for you. And today I just want to talk to you about technology and its Nephilim origins, if you will. But no matter how you look at things, in these past 150, 200 years-ish, we have seen advances in technology like never before. I mean, we can drive a car, we have trains, we have planes, we can go all the way to the moon and back again. So many different things. I mean, fiber optic tables and just neat things that we've never thought of. But do you ever just sit back and wonder, why do we have all these technological advances in these past 150 years? Yet, since the creation of man, with Adam and Eve, let's go all the way back, up until about 150 years ago, we have little technological advances. I mean, the most that we could do is we would walk, horse and buggy carriage, and there were some boats. Beyond that, not much. And you can't tell me that for 5,000 years, humankind, that was all the accomplishment they had. To me, there's something fishy going on. Why is it that for 5,000 years there was basically science, and then bam, these past 150 years, there's all these technological advances? And I believe I have an answer for you. And my theory is basically this, that in these past 150 years, our elite, our government, the top scientists and things have had help with the fall, have had help through alien technology, fallen angels, and Nephilim. Basically, if you've never heard of fallen angels, they are angels that got kicked out of heaven for disobeying God, basically, or and went with Satan. And Nephilim is also the offspring of fallen watcher angels and humans. Basically, they had intercourse and produced this Nephilim offspring. That aside, I believe that our government and the elite is sharing or getting information from these demonic forces, if you will. Now, you might be thinking, if Nephilim have been around since the creation of man, why is it that there are no technological advances until about 150 years ago? And that's a good question. And my answer is simply this. If you look at the book of Jude and 2 Peter, it's Jude 1:6 and 2 Peter 2:4. It talks about fallen angels that were bound in the pits of hell. And I believe that during the flood of Noah, when there was a population of Nephilim or giants on the earth, like Goliath, you guys probably heard about him, but when that influx happened, God sent a flood and wiped out everything. And at that same time, he bound up the fallen angels in the pits of hell, and all their Nephilim offspring died, basically, and became demonic forces. That being said, fast forward to our generation, and a little before, or fast forward to about 150 years ago, if we look into the book of Enoch, now the book of Enoch is not it's extra biblical. It's not part of the Bible, but I don't consider it canon, but I do consider it good historical information. And if you haven't read it, you should try it. But anyway, the book of Enoch talks about a group of angels, the same group of angels spoken of in Jude and Genesis and in 2 Peter. But basically there was a group of like 200 angels, and it says that they shared a bunch of technological advances with man. And they shared, some of the things they shared were swords and knife making, enchantment, astrology, metals. Metals is a huge thing that they taught. But anyway, it says specifically in the book of Enoch that they taught men how to do these things. But anyway, during the flood of Noah, they were chained. Now, the book of Enoch says 70 generations from that date, from the time of Noah, that they would be released again on the earth. Now, if we go 70 generations from the time of Noah, and there's about 70 generations in a year, so we take 70, multiply it by 70, that would put us right at the 1900s. This is the exact time that we see a boom in technology and advances, all this stuff that you see, right at that same time that these fallen angels were to be bound up. And this is also why we see an influx in aliens. We all of a sudden see more UFO sightings than any other time in history, all of that. And by all means, I think people mislabel these aliens. I believe them to be Nephilim or fallen angels, or but anyway, it strikes me as odd that this is at that same time period. That said, I want to show you a couple of clips of people like Philip Caruso, who talks about his experience with technology and fallen angels. So I just have a couple things to show you.
July 1947, Roswell, New Mexico. Wreckage found in the desert outside this small town is believed by many to be a UFO.
The question is, are UFOs real? The answer is yes.
For years, controversy has grown about what really happened here that summer night. Now, a decorated ex-U.S. Army intelligence officer has made a remarkable claim. He says that not only are UFOs real, but that the U.S. military harvested advanced technology from them. He knows this, he says, because he held the technology in his hands and saw alien bodies from the Roswell crash.
The humanoid-type body came from the Roswell area where there was a crash in 1947.
Why should we believe him? Because of the man that he was, the years of service that he dedicated to the United States of America, and the fact that he was considered one of the top military men in his field.
What were the things that he has said in the past that have come to fruition?
According to Lieutenant Colonel Philip Corso, he was responsible for bringing alien technology to military labs and civilian scientists, and they used it to make lasers, fiber optics, integrated circuits, night vision image goggles, and bulletproof vests. A piece of super strong metallic cloth. Corso contends it may have protected the alien pilots in their spacecraft. A tube that appears to shoot a searing red light. Corso thinks it might be a surgical instrument or a weapon. An alien-made headband that, according to his military reports, might have been used to transmit thoughts or control the alien craft. An imprinted set of miniaturized circuits, perhaps a prefabricated microcircuit. A flexible wire that might have transmitted light through its interior. And a lens that could allow anyone to see in the dark, supposedly taken from the eye of an alien being. According to the reports that Corso claims to have read, some of the world's foremost scientists, men like Werner von Braun and J. Robert Oppenheimer, have access to the Roswell crash site. Corso says that Lieutenant General Trudeau greenlights him to assemble his own A-list team.
You will put on that team anybody that you want. Engineers, scientists, and even I told the Germans. Tomorrow I'll take a couple of Germans too, in addition to the U.S. scientists. We had the organization, and we had the money, and we had the brains to do it, and we did it.
Corso claiming that his team of A-list scientists helped him interpret the Roswell cache.
I didn't have the training or the background for something. They got highly technical. But fortunately, the German scientists were there. I knew von Braun, and I knew Hermann Oberth. Oberth was a man that said we've been helped. But we had to keep it quiet to protect our budget, protect our organization.
Among those who believe there was an alien crash near Roswell, there is consensus on one concept. The U.S. government systematically suppressed the truth.
The government of the United States and other governments around the world have gone out of their way to keep that wrapped up inside a riddle that's smothered by an enigma.
Philip Corso says he also had to keep his reverse engineering program under wraps.
We couldn't discuss it. We made a decision It cannot be discussed outside of us. We're doing good. We have the authority, we have the money for our R&D projects. Well, that's fine. Let's keep it that way. Let's not get mixed up in the murky area of whether they exist or not.
As for Corso's contributions to the advancement of science, skeptics say that the technology he claimed to have pushed forward was ready to emerge anyway. As proof, they offer up the mind control headband, one alien technology that Corso did not claim to develop. Today, it's well on its way to becoming a reality without his help. Since the 1970s, scientists have been experimenting with using EEG readouts of brainwaves to provide feedback and change behavior. It's now possible to use EEG feedback games like this one to learn how to manage brain states. But mind control technology has advanced even further than that.
Going to open the first email, which says congrats. It says
In 2004, researchers received FDA approval to test tiny brain implants designed to allow disabled people to control computers using their thoughts.
Next, I'm going to paint a circle.
UFO researchers say the government's supposed cover-up may forever obscure the facts of Roswell.
The military, the Pentagon, the government of the United States does not give that type of authority to a loose cannon. This man was highly regarded, highly respected.
At my age, what do I have to lose? I have to let my grandchildren and my children know this, because how long will I be around yet? And when I go, it goes with me.
There must have been many days that Philip Corso said to himself, why me? Why do I have this information? And again, I think that's one of the things that probably plagued him for so many years. It's pretty difficult to keep a secret like that within yourself.
Even today, only 10% of the story is told, my father says. The rest is classified.
The world is on the verge of global change. The speed of data transmission has increased by multiples of millions. The rate of globally significant events and that of discoveries and crises is growing exponentially. Our civilization is like an uncaptained ship sailing on rough seas with neither chart nor compass, all the while moving faster and faster. The time we have to make the right decisions is shorter and shorter. We are facing the choice to fall into a new dark age, into affliction and degradation, or to find a new model for human development and create not simply a new civilization, but a new mankind. Historic crises show that to break the deadlock, we need technological revolution. It is clear that today's revolution will also require the deepest social transformation. The world's community and leaders should encourage mankind, instead of wasting resources on solving momentary problems, to focus on the technologies of the future: nanotechnology, biotechnology, information technology, cognitive technology, genetics and robotics. Doing so will allow us to find new sources of energy, create fundamentally new architecture and transportation, allow unprecedented developments of human cognitive abilities, refine artificial intelligences and brain-computer interfaces, simulate complex systems, create humanoid robots and cyborgs, and with the help of nanorobots, we may develop manageable matter. Find ways to transfer one's personality to an artificial carrier. Yet what we need is not just another technological revolution, but a new civilizational paradigm. We need new philosophy and ideology, new ethics, new culture and new psychology, and even new metaphysics. We must reset our limits, go beyond ourselves, beyond the Earth, and beyond the solar system. This is an adequate response to the challenges of our time. Thus, new reality and future man will arise. Could it happen spontaneously?
Also it causes all, both small and great, both rich and poor, both free and slave, to be marked on the right hand or the forehead, so that no one can buy or sell unless he has the mark, that is, the name of the beast or the number of its name. This calls for wisdom. Let the one who has understanding calculate the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666.
Like alligator clips when I touch my phone, my computer, my door, my car, I'm authenticated in. First superpower. Like, I want that.
But, you know, the whole move of these implants, there are a couple of stupid companies like the Verichip Corporation, with all its various names, that come out and say, oh, well, we want to sell this as a product. I don't think it's going to happen that way. People don't want an ID microchip. But if you turn around and instead say, you'll be able to listen to music and access Facebook and you know, get your email through this little implant, you're going to have a stampede of people wanting to do it.
Time is ticking by, and I can feel an explosion inside. And time is ticking by, and I can feel an explosion inside. As in the days of Noah, as in the days of Noah, they'll be drinking, marrying, laughing. As in the days of Noah, what a fool, they say, to build a boat on sand. What a fool, they say. It's never rained before. It's never rained before. It's never rained before. As in the days of Noah, so it will be in the coming of the Son of Man. And what a fool, they say, to fast and pray. And what a fool, they say, come on, it's been 2,000 years. Do you really think that he's coming? Come on, let's just get real. But remember this first, that many, many, many scoffers will come. And when the rain starts falling, it's too late. It's too late. And when the rain starts falling, it's too late. It's too late. As in the days of Noah, it's never rained before. It's never rained before. It's never rained before. It's never rained before. But one day, 2 days, 3 days gone by, and time is ticking by, and I can feel an explosion inside. People get ready, Jesus is coming. And many, 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 many scoffers will rise in that day, and they'll say, it's never rained before, it's never rained before, it's never rained before, it's never rained before, it's never rain, rain, go away, hide me from the wrath of the Lamb. Starts falling, it's too late, it's too late. When the rain starts falling, it's too late, it's too late. And when the rain starts falling, it's too late.
Is the everlasting God, the creator of all the earth. He never grows weak or weary. No one can measure the depths of his understanding. He gives power to the weak and strength to the powerless. Even youths will become weak and tired, and young men will fall in exhaustion. But those who trust in the Lord will find new strength. They'll soar high on wings like eagles. They'll run and not grow weary. They'll walk and not faint.